Hello and welcome to Camnet TV World News Broadcast. Presented, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Muvanga. A look at the headlines. Civil servant warned civil servants against engaging in active politics. Matero MP and councillor bitter confrontation condemned. Libala Secondary School pupil tests positive for COVID-19. And in international news, SA reports a record single-day high of COVID-19 deaths. And in sports news, Liverpool lifts a special Premier League title after thrilling victory against Chelsea. Do join me shortly for the details after this break.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Local Government Minister Charles Banda has condemned in the strongest terms the road altercation between Matero Member of Parliament Lloyd Kazia and Matero Ward 28 Councillor Anne Chinyanta, describing the incident as regrettable. Addressing the media Thursday morning on the near punch-up by the two leaders, the minister says the local authority will tomorrow be on the ground to ascertain what led to the altercation between the two elected officials. Mr. Banda says what is more regrettable is that the two are leaders from the governing party PF and should lead by example. Here's a report.
Stop the nonsense.
No,
nonsense.
This is not nonsense. You are not supposed to use the word nonsense. Go to council. Listen, you have the right as a citizen. Go to Lusaka City Council. They are going to summon you to go there. The Honorable Minister, the Honorable MP will come to council and this query will be done. He's not supposed to call you in the streets with people and ask you queries which he doesn't know about.
Are there people here? Are there people here? These are police officers if you don't know.
The police, you're supposed to come with council police.
No.
You're not supposed to come. This is development. You're supposed to come with council police.
The nonsense you are doing here.
This is not nonsense. You're not supposed to talk to me as
Did you buy that plot?
This is not
nonsense. Did you buy that plot?
The council, being part of the local government, is mandated to work hand in hand with the Ministry of Lands on matters concerning land allocation. However, the council has on many occasions been accused of illegal land dealings among the civic leaders. Yesterday, a verbal altercation ensued between Matero Member of Parliament and Ward 28 Councillor Anne Chinyanta over a piece of land which the full council is said to have approved, but area MP was unaware of this development and in the process of consulting led to a confrontation between the two leaders who called themselves useless. Reacting to the same video of Honorable Kazia and Councillor Chinyanta, Local Government Minister Charles Banda told the media that the near punch-up between the two leaders is regrettable and that the ministry has started investigations into this matter.
The altercation between an area councillor and also an area member of parliament, I think that is a very regrettable situation. That is not how things should be. When we have issues of that matter, there's a way we are supposed to resolve matters like that. I'm pretty sure that what we have seen is actually quite ugly, very unbecoming, and I don't think that is the way to go, especially that leaders are at play. I hope that much as we have taken note of it, the party will take attention, will pay attention so that corrective measures are made, because it also borders on indiscipline.
And Brian Sengalumbwe, an opposition leader for the United Front for a Strong Foundation, says the confrontation between the two leaders is a clear demonstration of complete breakdown in the rule of law. He says the members of parliament is not mandated to give land but to foresee the developmental projects within his constituency.
Because the two people in conflict are not even supposed to be the supervisory workers at ground level. It's a sign of a complete breakdown of the system. The MP is not the one who gives plots or supervises plots. Where are the actual people who do that?
By law, the material lawmaker is mandated to lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Local Government and Housing, who has constituted the powers to reverse any decisions made by any council in Zambia. Lusaka Mayor Mao Samba also commented on the video that is making rounds on social media. He says a committee of 8 councillors can sit to approve or reject any application which can be approved by a full council meeting. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A grade 12 pupil of Lusaka's Livala Secondary School has tested positive for COVID-19. The boy from 12C tested positive for the virus last week but continued attending classes until the parents to the boy alerted the school authorities. The boy has since been quarantined at home as advised by health authorities. Livala Secondary School head teacher Felix Makumba Kaite has confirmed the development to Camnet TV News in a telephone interview. Mr. Makumba tells Camnet TV that immediately his school was alerted of the development, he informed the health experts who advised the school on the next course of action.
The boy is not with us. He has been taken for 2 weeks. We have been told he only comes to school after 2 weeks period is over. I consulted the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
Yes, we consulted the health and they advised us not to allow him in school until after this period is over, the 2 weeks quarantine period.
Okay, but we are told even when he tested positive, he was still coming to school.
No, sir, we didn't know. How do we know? We are not health people ourselves. We didn't know until when the parents called the school and told us. Then we quickly called the health and found out what do we do. They also advised us. Let the child remain at home until after the quarantine period is over. That's when they will advise us what next.
All I wanted to know is because if I come in contact with a person who's positive for COVID-19, probably I may also contact the virus, but I wanted to find out really the position with regard to the other students that the boy was in touch with.
Oh, no, unless you come, because I'm already at home, unless you came to school, then we can advise the information which was given to us. So we did our part, we reported to the ministry, we reported to health, and they advised us what to do. Otherwise, the boy was not, the COVID, it wasn't from school, it was from home, where the parents had gone elsewhere. And all the family, I'm told as of now, all the family is quarantined. I don't know whether it's at the hospital. We have been advised not to allow the boys to come into school until after 2 weeks. That's the advice we were given by the hospital.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Meanwhile, a youth from a movement calling itself Youth for Parliament has called for the immediate closure of schools to save the lives of pupils. Movement manager Thompson Luzendi says the move by government to adjourn Parliament but allow schools to continue operating is hypocritical and should be addressed urgently. Namwenga Mwenga now reports.
The Youth for Parliament movement has called on government to close down schools with immediate effect, just like it has adjourned Parliament.
We think that it is very hypocritical for Parliament to run, Parliament which has fewer people than the kids who have continued to go to school, and to also let other institutions which are not even observing properly COVID-19 guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health. We are concerned as a movement because this sends a very wrong message and picture about how seriously we are taking COVID-19.
Youth for Parliament movement manager Thompson Luzendi says the move by government leaders to close down Parliament while remaining silent on schools is nothing but hypocrisy.
We have never supported the idea of opening institutions up. If you remember, when institutions closed, we saw that the country was not recording a lot of COVID-19 cases. But ever since schools opened and everything else went back to business as usual, we are seeing an increase in the number of cases. Our appeal to the government, to the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, they need to close down schools.
Mr. Luzendi adds that teachers and pupils at this stage are at a higher risk of contracting the coronavirus, considering many reports purporting to low compliance levels towards COVID-19 measures, hence exposing the young people to unnecessary death traps.
We need to wait as a country and as a people for pupils to begin to contract the virus. We do not need to wait for pupils to start dying for us to move in. Other countries, Kenya has cancelled the entire curriculum to next year. South Africa is struggling with cases, and all other countries. Coronavirus is real and it's here to stay. We cannot risk the future of the kids and their lives simply because we want them to write exams.
Parliament was on July 21st, 2020 adjourned sine die due to escalating COVID-19 cases. According to an order paper for Tuesday, 21st of July 2020, Vice President Inonge Wina issued a notice of motion to request the House to adjourn in view of the coronavirus pandemic. This is the second time Parliament has been adjourned due to the surging global pandemic, after an early adjournment which was effected on March 18th, 2020, before resuming in June 2020. Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga.
A district commissioner in Luano district of Central Province has warned his fellow civil servants against engaging themselves in active politics. Commissioner Christopher Chibuye encourages civil servants to concentrate on serving the people other than taking partisan positions. Mr. Chibuye sounded the warning during the opening of the District Development Coordinating Committee meeting for heads of government departments in Luano. He warns that any civil servant who will be found engaging in active politics should be ready for the consequences. According to him, any civil servant with political ambitions should resign from government.
The general elections, definitely the mood just changes everywhere. The mood just becomes political everywhere. And for you and me to perform better, please don't connect yourselves to any political assignments, to any political parties. For you, my humble appeal and plea is that perform your diligent duties professionally. By that, you definitely do away with all the confrontations from the political circles. If you want to align yourself with a certain political party, you want to align yourself with a certain political activities, definitely people out there in the political arena will confront you and they'll take you head on, as they will actually consider you to be their opponent. But for now, you and me, we are purely government workers, and let us conduct our activities, our operations in a professional manner. Remember, I've said it's a critical period where by the end of it all, we might have casualties. And indeed, how I pray that amongst our team, there will be no casualty. We will be taken head on by the political players.
Monze Town Council Chairperson Bisha Munsaka has called for concerted efforts in the development process of the country. Mr. Munsaka says Zambia can only develop if all stakeholders find common ground and purpose. Speaking when he officially opened a capacity building workshop for Ward Development Committee members in Monze Thursday, Mr. Munsaka urged Zambians to complement each other's efforts in the process of finding solutions solutions to what affects the nation. And Alliance for Community Action Executive Director Laura Miti, who was part of the meeting, advised members of the Ward Development Committees to fully acquaint themselves on the functions of WDCs and the law governing their formation. She says this will help drive the development agenda of the wards and have meaningful input in the decision-making process regarding their respective wards.
Government, as per mandate, ensures that the country is developed using the available resources. This development is a product of many sector players who play a watchful eye of these developmental projects to ensure accountability is maintained. But for this to happen, the community needs to be aware of what and when they need to query. As part of capacity building, Monze Town Council, with the help from cooperating partners, is holding workshops with Ward Development Committee members. Monze Town Council Chairperson Bisha Munsaka says the implementation of development requires the involvement of all stakeholders at all levels.
Development can never be attained without building capacity among stakeholders. Therefore, it is important to create platforms for knowledge sharing such as this one. Following your being democratically elected as Ward Development Committee members, I wish to state that it is considered silent to train you adequately regarding your roles and responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, this training being initiated today was intended to have been carried out much earlier, but due to the outbreak of COVID-19, it could not be done.
And speaking when she facilitated a workshop, Alliance for Community Action Executive Director Laura Miti told members to ensure that they are knowledgeable on this matter.
My roles and my duties yanu ni ya branch, especially for your community. So, per last tikasiriza kuma 15-16 hours. Ngati iyo roho yanu sumuziva na roho ya vile mungachite mu community simuziva nishi ine nakangio. Okay? Muniuze at but mami mwakangio, okay? At mwene znabwerera kuseni na wamene niendela ni same. So iyo ndiye test, nampasa ni exam mutu palati kuma 15 hours muzifunze. Kuti kodi niziva roho ya WDC na lamulo ya WDC na vending achite mu community.
Ward development committees are structured in local government established by Section 36 of the Local Government Act of 2019. Among the functions of WDCs is to facilitate community participation in planning, implementation and monitoring of service delivery projects in their communities, as well as propose projects for funding to the Constituency Development Committee. The project is being sponsored by the German Development Corporation in conjunction with Monze Town Council. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
We take our first set of commercials. Do stay tuned as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not pure glycerin.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571 +260 975 618 618 and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. We continue with the news. The Opposition United Front for a Strong Foundation has described the country's economic status as being a disaster. Party President Brian Chisengalombe says Zambia is currently in need of a sound leadership to put things back on track. Mr. Chisengalombe is further concerned with the high poverty and unemployment levels in the country. The opposition leader said this when he featured on Camnet TV's breakfast show Thursday morning.
Describe the state of the economy, maybe in few words.
Disaster. Disaster.
It's disaster.
Yes. And I'm sorry if it sounds terrible. It's disaster. And it's not from my words, it's from the budget. That the misapplication of funds, too much infrastructure, little human development, poverty is still static, joblessness has reduced, added by COVID. So we have a disastrous environment. And what you need is a disaster management team to go into government and run this country.
Residents of Lusaka's Kalikiliki compound have bemoaned raising poverty levels in their community. The residents have told Camnet TV that the coronavirus pandemic has further worsened their already ailing economic situation as businesses have slowed down. Here's a report.
The coronavirus pandemic has adversely affected residents in Kalikiliki. Residents say their businesses have shut down as they continuously have made losses. We are hungry, they say.
Njala mwakalikiliki yavuta manzi maraiti vonse vativuta mamene coronavirus inabwerera kuli government ichita bena ngutenzo gulisa ma business tinabloka kamba ka coronavirus so apa bana batu bavuta na njala naise tipempa kotandizo ku government muti yakanepo naise njala indiesa tibaya kuno kwakalikiliki zinanga nile ruti zulu asiriza nina bana batatu ndinokwatiwa muna banga na beve sasebenza kampani yao banavala.
Okay, so hapa manje mukudia kangati nibe.
Tukudia kamozi pede.
Mmoja kudala.
Hapa tadia kudala.
So kudia ni mailo.
Tizadia mailo hapa koma tipikira cha bebana usiku kwa sira.
These are some mothers who say they are only having one meal in a day. The sad part is that the coronavirus is on the rise in Zambia. Cumulative cases now in Zambia stand at 3,500. This information is according to the Ministry of Health. Now, we could all begin to imagine just how small and medium enterprises will be affected during this period, or maybe forever, as we don't know whether the coronavirus will cease to exist as there is no cure yet. Here is another mother from Lundazi Eastern Province who came to Lusaka with the hope of having a better life but ended up joining in the suffering.
Ise kuno maningi njala yavuta ndine mtumbuka ngati muona kuti chitundu chimachita monga chachita komanga chachita chani ndine mtumbuka nachoka kulundazi kubwera kuno njala manzi nayo yavuta kungovutika chabe kusakira manzi chani chi manyumba nayo tikangi wanolipira vavuta vindu business inatinashitapwa chinakangiwa tikokosangira kulipa kopesera ndrama atiya makampani wavara amuna watu nao sasebenza so zashitabwa nji zinalanga ndine Makines Zimba na wana 4
Unachoka kulundazi mnagoro chitachani
kutoka kulundazi kani mavuto yamene aja kumuzi nako njala voshtika kakuli manufacturers so banje facturers kati yavuta tishire bwanji kati tabire kulusaka na kulusaka futi vindu navo vavuta coronavirus waliendera hapo yame nchito kuti coronavirus ishite bwanji so kotawira kwa soba mutitandizire mwa bantu.
They have asked for assistance from government during this COVID-19 period as they have clearly failed to sustain themselves. They have advised government not to think things are fine with its people. These people are hungry. Looking in the eyes of these children, you could see just how hopeless they are. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the opposition movement for multi-party democracy, MMD, has come to the aid of several suffering families in Kalikiliki compound. The party, through its president, Dr. Nevas Mumba, Thursday, donated food packs to the vulnerable households to ease their sufferings. More in this report.
Save Zambia, under the New Hope MMD, has distributed food packs to vulnerable people in Kalikiliki compound of Lusaka.
Amai Esther Nyangu. Amai Edna Kapandula.
About 500 houses have, on the 23rd of July, received a pack of food containing rice, mealie meal, and other foodstuffs. New Hope Movement for Multi-Party Democracy Party President Nevas Mumba says it is important that government helps the vulnerable people in society.
At the end of this program in 3 months, we hope to have fed 10,000 people in this compound, taking it that each household would have an average of 5 people. So take or add to 10,000. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope and pray that this intervention can save a life or two as our people go through one of the most difficult times in the history of our country. And I challenge businessmen across this country, the government inclusive. Government must take a leaf from this, that in the next 2-3 months, a lot of our people are going to be suffering a lot. So it will be important for government to identify the most vulnerable areas and compounds and help them. And if all churches helped, if all businessmen helped, we'll be able to help hundreds of thousands of the poor in our place. So everybody does his part, and we think that that will be helpful.
One of the beneficiaries, an older woman, expresses her gratitude.
Yotandiza isi tuliso vachikulile tuvutika pano paziko la basi mbuya museweza muyana nachita siko.
She narrates of how her family is struggling with putting food on the table. Kalikiliki residents have also called on other leaders in Zambia to emulate this kind gesture. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Chamber of Mines has urged government to extend the necessary support and extend stimulus to the mining sector to avert the collapsing economy due to the impact caused by COVID-19. Zambia Chamber of Mines Chief Executive Officer Sokwani Chilembo has told Camnet TV in an exclusive interview that it is high time government realize the hanging fruit in its hand, which is Lubambe mines on the copper belt. Mr. Chilembo further explains that the mines have about 110 million tons mining assets, which will be capable of producing 150 to 200 tons of copper each year. He says the Chamber of Mines has been pushing government to open it for over 2 years now, from 2018, but up to now, nothing has been done.
Basically, the report that we presented today is aimed at stirring debate. The Minister of Finance did allude to the fact that we really need to expend more of our efforts on figuring out a way forward than dredging up the challenges of the past. So this is our industry's effort to get everyone to galvanize efforts into concentrating on figuring out how we can actually mobilize support from the international community for government to enable it to be able to extend the necessary supports and extend stimulus to the mining sector so that we can be in a good position to bounce back. Presently, there is a very big risk of us having a very slow recovery, which will lead to a lot of permanent damage. If, however, we put our policy and environment correct quickly, we restore confidences, we put the tax levels competitive so that we are ranked as a key opportunity by businesses all over the world, then we know that we will be able to have a quick V-shaped speedy recovery. That is the ideal to which we are trying to strive, and it is our intention that using this report we can stir debate and everyone can focus energies on how we might be able to do so swiftly. Examples of some of the fruit that we have in hand, low-hanging fruit, is the Luambe mine. This is a 10 million ton mining asset which will be capable of producing between 150 and 200,000 tons of copper per year. This asset alone would push us above 1 million tons per year in production.
We now take a set of commercials. Do join us as we have international and sports news.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant save nations to develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, South Africa has announced a record 24-hour increase of 572 coronavirus deaths. The new deaths announced on Wednesday bring the total number of fatalities to 5,940. Almost half the country's total number of deaths have been reported in the Western Cape province. The majority of confirmed coronavirus cases are, however, in Gauteng province, the country's financial hub and epicenter of the pandemic. The Western Cape province has the second highest number of confirmed cases. South Africa currently has over 300,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus. The World Health Organization, WHO, and the African Center for Disease Control, CTC, has confirmed a committee to advise and provide support into research researching traditional remedies for COVID-19. The experts sitting in the committee will advise the African countries on the science, safety and quality of traditional medicine. It will support countries to ensure clinical trials of traditional medicines comply with international standards, according to a statement by WHO. The formation of the committee comes as Madagascar, which has been promoting a herbal remedy for COVID-19, is reported to be overwhelmed by the number of infected people. Nigeria said it had conducted tests and could not find evidence that Madagascar's herbal tonic actually works. And moving on in sports news, Liverpool finally got its hand on the English Premier League trophy following an action-packed 5-3 win against Chelsea at Anfield. The Reds mathematically won the title last month but lifted the trophy inside an empty stadium on Wednesday after a 31st victory of the season. Liverpool last won the trophy 30 years ago. Let's have a look at the celebrations.
Here comes the captain, the leader of the club. Jordan Henderson steps forward to take his medal and to take the Premier League trophy. The Hendo shuffle's on its way. First, they conquered Europe. Then they conquered the whole world. Now they've conquered their own country. Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool Football Club captain. A team of history makers. A team of record breakers. Now Liverpool are back where they belong.
Oh John, it's been 30 years of hot about to end.
Champions again, Liverpool.
Soak it all in, lads, soak it all in and enjoy it.
That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet World TV News. But before we go, a look at the headlines. Civil servant warns civil servant against engaging in active politics. Matero MP and councillor bitter confrontation condemned. Libala Secondary School pupil tests positive for COVID-19. And in international news, SA reports record single-day high of COVID-19 deaths. And in sports news, Liverpool lifts special Premier League title after thrilling victory against Chelsea. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the Book of Lamentations 3 verse 22 to 23, and it reads, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases, his mercies never come to an end, and they are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." This has been Camnet TV World News on Camnet TV, not just another channel, with your anchor Liseli Kanyanga Muvanga.